So I'm going to get started on this water cutoff valve for this thing. Like I was saying before, this thing right here wires into this box up here, and when it senses water on this sensor here, it sends a signal through and closes this valve up here. So I'm going to use some good old alien tape just because.
I put that on everything.
And I'm going to put it up here so I don't have to add wire to that. And so the wires will run down to this sensor, which will go in here like this. And I've decided I'm going to power it off of a battery backup. So just in case the power goes off and something happens, then it'll still work. That battery backup should run this thing for a long time if power does go out. I'm recording this after I edited the video, and I realized that I didn't mention the fact that this system could be used in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to just be for a water cutoff like I did. There's a lot of different types of sensors out there that you can get to put on this system. As long as it's a sensor that has a relay output on it, that can be hooked into this. The way I did it, it's close proximity, so it's hardwired. But you can get wireless relays that sends a signal to a receiver, and as long as that receiver has a relay output on it, it would work too. So you wouldn't have to run wires throughout your whole house. But if you can find a sensor that you need for your situation and it'll hook up to this, then there's a lot of stuff out there that you can get. It's kind of almost unlimited. You can get light switches, or you can get relay contactors or anything. But you could put a sensor near your hot water heater. You could put one under your sinks. You could put one near your bathtub. Anywhere that you think there could be a problem with water, this will work for. And there's also carbon monoxide and gas sensors, where this same valve could be put on your gas line and turn your gas off if there's a gas leak. You don't have to let a situation get completely out of hand before you cut off the source. That's basically what this would do. So, if you got a water leak, it will cut your water off. If you got a gas leak, you can cut your gas off before, something goes really wrong. So it has a lot of different options, and I just wanted to throw that in here and let you know that what I've done with it is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do with this system. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull this valve out of here, see what's going on with it, because it stuck again this morning. Luckily I caught it. It had just started, so it didn't flood too bad, but it got out about 15 feet from the tank before I seen it. So I'm going to pull this out of here and take it apart and see what's stuck in it. So far I'm not seeing anything in it. Only thing I can see in it, there's a little divot right there, but I don't think that's enough to cause it to leak. Oh, right there's. I don't know if you can see it or not. That's probably what it was. That's all it takes. Right there's what the problem is. It's got sand in it. Okay, give me one more second. Let me go rinse this side out, this top part. You're going to have to excuse my sniffling and my voice. I've wound up having COVID, so I'm not feeling very good, but I have to get this done. Now the fun part's going to be getting this thing back in there. I think I got it. Got the thread started correctly. Well, that hurt. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to put this on next. May not be able to use this. I put it in the wrong hole. Really wasn't a good way of putting this in there, but it's the best way I could figure to do it. Okay. Let me get me some zip ties and I'll zip tie this up. Almost didn't leave enough wire. Okay. This thing has a common plug and then a normally open and normally closed. So I'm assuming this is supposed to go normally open, and then when it triggers it, it'll close it. guess it matters. See the way this sensor goes, it's just a contact. Now the power does have a positive negative, so it's got to go correctly. I'm pretty sure there was an adjustment you're supposed to do on this with this little pot adjustment here, but like I said, I lost the paperwork and I don't know. I guess I can pull it up on the internet. Well, I've got a green light, so that's a good thing. I drained some of the water out of the tank so I could get to that valve, so I don't know if I could. Well, I'm assuming it's working. I'm glad it's got a built-in alarm. I was kind of worried about that. I thought I was going to have to find like a piezo alarm or something to put on it, but we're just going to stick it on there just like that. This alien tape's some really good stuff, but I've got one major fault with it, is that you can't get the protective coating off of it. Now that was easier than normal. Turn the water on now and see what it does. I'll have to download the instructions on it. I must have something hooked up wrong. The valve's not closing. Okay, I'll be back. I'm gonna try to find the manual for this thing on the internet. Okay, I've looked on the manuals for these things and I was looking at it all wrong. I got my tester and tested these leads right here, and the paperwork for this thing kind of suggests that it sends power through, but it don't. All it does is close these contacts. So turns out what I gotta do is put a separate power supply for the valve, and I have to tie the red to the main power supply, and then the black for the common for the power supply goes here, and then this wire goes down to normally open. So I should have known that, but you know, like I said, the paperwork for this thing kind of suggested that it sends power through, but it don't. So I'm gonna get another power supply and hook up to this and jump it over and see if it works. I thought about just jumping from these over, but I'm afraid it might cause a power loop or something, so I'm just going to use two different power supplies. So I got to put the negative from the power supply into the common. Then the negative from the solenoid valve goes to the normally open. So I'm just going to twist these together for right now to make sure I'm right. Okay, so I'm going to turn the water back on. I guess I could test it first and see. Yeah, I can hear the valve. I can hear the valve motor running. Okay, so the water's back on. Yeah, it works. And it says it's supposed to take 8 to 10 seconds for it to open back up. Okay, so there it goes. So now it's working like it should. I'm really glad to get this thing hooked up because I've been getting so much debris through this thing, and it's supposed to stop it, but it don't stop sand, so it's been getting through and getting down into that Hudson valve and clogging it up. So you can see right here that it flooded again this morning. That's the third time in the last month, so this should stop all my problems. And another thing I'm going to do is I bought another sediment filter. This was actually a combo. It's a house filter, and I'm going to put it in here too. So I'll have the screen filter and then a house filter before it goes in the tank. And then I've already got one there for the house. And then I've got one of those 5 micron filters right there. So our water should be safe as you can get it for being on city water. But I've got my doubts anymore because there's just so much stuff going on anymore. So I'm going to end this video now, and I'll come back and touch all this up later. This video's already getting long enough. So it's going to take a little bit to fill this tank up. I was going to kind of show you how this valve works. See if I can put it down in the tank without losing my camera. So what it does, the water level comes up to the bottom of that valve, and then it pushes the float up against a little pinhole, and it stops the water from going through. They work good, but the water flow through them is not very good. So that's why I put this regulator on it to cut the water pressure down going in. On a good day, we only get about 30 pounds of pressure up here. But I figured if I cut it down even more, it'd be less problems on that valve, but it still doesn't help if I get sand in it. So hopefully this will fix my problems.